Hi, Mom. So I got my ticket home from Europe. I get back on June 6th, but it's a really late flight because that was the cheapest, so it gets in at midnight. But don't worry, I'll get a shuttle from the airport so you don't have to pick me up. Like, really, seriously, you don't have to. Okay, so, love you. See you soon. Bye.
It's easy to take writers and writing for granted. Oftentimes in video games, the most well-written tales are the ones in which we notice the script the least. With game mechanics, graphics, and audio assaulting players' senses, the narrative structure, means through which the game progresses, and the tactics used to place you firmly in the role of your character, and the ways in which the cast is developed around you, blend in so seamlessly that it can be easy to forget to give credit where credit is due. Gone Home forgoes many traditional gameplay hooks and places its narrative front and center, with its cleverly written and structured narrative acting as a tour guide of sorts. Along with Dear Esther, Gone Home helps distinguish interactive storytelling from other more traditional narrative formats like literature and cinema. One thing is for sure, you won't forget the script's role in Gone Home. After returning to her parents' home in Arbor Hill, Oregon, Katie Greenbrier finds a large sprawling home that their family has recently inherited from an uncle suspiciously empty. A message on the answering machine from Katie to her family informs them of her return from Europe, and sets the stage as Katie finds herself on the front porch of the house. Making your way inside, it's up to you to investigate what happened and why Katie's parents and sister are not home. As the player, you must follow a trail of paperwork and artifacts that piece together who your family is and what has happened to them. Perhaps one of the most striking features of Gone Home is how far it distances itself from anything traditionally found in a video game narrative. Earth is not in need of saving, nothing indicates that your family may be in trouble, there isn't really an antagonist, and there's no combat. Some very simple puzzle solving and a tremendous amount of exploration is all that's required to see Gone Home's conclusion. Not much can be said about Gone Home's plot without spoiling it, but playing through it evokes some of the darker elements behind the pristine facade of middle-class to upper-middle-class families, and is in some ways similar to the tone of a film like American Beauty. This very unusual approach to game design is what makes Gone Home so engaging. The Fulbright Company has carefully and cleverly designed the Greenbrier home to ensure that you find information you need in an order that makes sense, while maintaining the illusion that you're not being led by the nose to the next bit of pertinent information. Large sections of the house are open to explore at any given time, and carefully combing the drawers, cabinets, desks, and shelves of the home yields nuggets of information about each of the Greenbriers. The game mostly focuses on Katie's younger sister Sam, since she has left behind a journal and directly communicates with Katie.
Oh my god. You are so lucky you finished high school before we moved into this house. So, it's the first day of school, and there I am, introducing myself to the class, and I say that I just moved into the house on Arbor Hill. All of a sudden, every kid in the room turns and just stares like I suddenly transformed into a mutant. I just stood there, wishing pretty hard for a rewind button. Because now maybe nobody knows my name, but they all know who I am. The Psycho House Girl. Great.
But there's a story behind each of Katie's parents, and some anecdotes about the uncle who left the house to your family. Journals, schoolwork, business letters, personal letters, notes, and calendars can all be perused for information, and each piece of paper found in the game avoids overly expository information or presenting information in an unconvincing, fabricated manner. Some props, like self-help books, parenting books, or music magazines, allude to other events going on in the household and are further elaborated on as the game progresses. What's more, it is very apparent who owns each one of these objects, and it says a lot about how these characters relate to one another. Objects in the environment offer a lot of interaction, which also helps create the illusion that you're digging for information in a very real place, and some details can be uncovered that are not essential to understanding the game's main plot arc, but are nevertheless enriching. While a game like The Walking Dead is centered on allowing you to interact with objects in the environment that are necessary to proceed, Gone Home allows you to open almost every cabinet and drawer, giving the environment a high level of authenticity, and creating a sense of reward after locating important information. The Greenbrier home is rendered in a very simple and clean visual style that manages to be appreciably atmospheric. The props that populate the home reflect the game's mid-1990s setting. Blank VHS tapes with movies recorded on them, Super Nintendo cartridges, and cassette tapes can be found all over the house. Magazines featuring popular bands from the 90s also add to the nostalgia. The models themselves are very simple, even ugly at times, but crisp textures allow everything to be scrutinized for narrative details. The sound is what really drives the experience, however. The sound of rain and thunder persists through the entire experience, and a severe weather warning loops on the TV in the family room.
The following counties: Austin County, Boone County, Dawn County, Takelma County, and Wistaria County. Residents are strongly urged to stay indoors and secure all windows and doors. Flood conditions are expected at lower elevations.
A subtle and beautiful score fades in while Sam narrates her journal entries, and is juxtaposed by the loud and raw sounds of punk bands Bratmobile, Heavens to Betsy, and Riot Girl, that can be played once their cassette tapes have been located and placed into a cassette player. The audio and visual presentation come together to create a melancholy and eerie atmosphere that leaves you with a feeling that around every corner there might be some sort of horrific tragedy. Gone Home is an incredibly smart and well-executed interactive story. Its structure is clever, its writing immaculate, and the atmosphere is haunting. Few games reward and encourage exploration in the way that Gone Home does. The narrative themes steer clear of the well-worn ground of most other games, offering a unique and original experience. The only downside is the fact that Gone Home is so brief, with most playthroughs only taking a couple hours, though there is a newly added audio commentary to extend the experience. That seems like a minor shortcoming, however, when compared to what this piece of avant-garde gaming offers in return. With a single game, the Fulbright Company has delivered an emotional and moving experience, accomplishing something that AAA blowhards like David Cage have been pontificating about for a decade. It's more of an experience than a game, and may be the most intelligently crafted interactive experience on today's indie scene.